Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. I want to share with you a point on the Gemara on Daf Chaf Beis, a very interesting story. The Gemara tells us about Ula. The Gemara says, Ula b'miskei la'arad Yisrael. This is Gemara on Chaf Beis Amud Aleph, on 5 lines from the bottom. Ula b'miskei la'arad Yisrael. Ula, when he was going up to Eretz Yisrael from Bavel, Islavulei train b'nei Chuzai. He was accompanied by 2 people from Chuzai. Bahadeh with him. Kamchad shachted chavre. One guy got up, he shachted his friend. Amar leila Ula. So he said to Ula, the murderer said to Ula, Yos Avdi, did I do the right thing? Amar le'in. Ula said, yeah, you did very good. Ula, afraid for his life, you don't want to criticize a murderer. When a murderer says, did I kill well? You say, yeah. But Ula added, Upara le beis hashchita. You should have uncovered the slit on his throat. So meaning that he should die sooner. When Ula got to Rabbi Yochanan, Amar he said, Dilma chas v'sham achzike yedei oivrei avera. Maybe, heaven forbid, I strengthened the sinners. In other words, by saying, not only did you do good by killing him, but you should have uncovered his beis hashchita. Maybe I was being mechazek sinners. To which Rabbi Yochanan said, Amarle, nafshach hitzalta. No, you did it to save your own skin. You did it to save your own skin. Okay, that's the story. So Ula was trying to protect himself. When the murderer said, did I do good? Ula said, yeah, you did good. You could have even killed him more. You could have killed him sooner. The question is, how was Ula allowed to say this? The first thing we have to establish, if you look in the Ran says, on the word Zuparale Beis Hashchita, the last narrow line in the Ran, Sheyamas Maher, you should have uncovered his Makom Shchita so that he should die sooner. The Achroinim ask, this is a kasha in the Sefer Nidrei's Reason, it's a kasha brought in the Sefer Tiferes Yisrael. The Tiferes Yisrael I posted for you. Let's see if we could open it here. I'm not going to be able to open it on the screen, but I put it on the chat. The Nidrei's Reason, the Maschelu Para, the Tiferes Yisrael is found in Masechta Peah, Parak Aleph, Mishnah Aleph. I spoke this morning in the Yeshiva Ketana of Los Angeles, so I found the Mishnayos with the Tiferes Yisrael. And they both explain the reason Ula gave this Eitzah is for the benefit of the Nirtzach, of the one who was killed, so that he should die sooner. He dies sooner and be spared from Yisurim. So the question is like this. Is shortening somebody's life considered murder? Let's say somebody would live 1 more minute and then you kill them so they don't live that 1 minute. So they were going to die anyway, but you just made them die sooner. Is somebody a murderer if they do that? Of course. We know we're mechalel Shabbos to save the life of a goyses, even though they're going to die imminently anyway. But still, if you are makarev their misa, you're called a roitzeach. So how is Ula allowed to instruct the murderer? Yeah, you should have knocked him off sooner, but that means that if Ula would have been the one to knock him off sooner, he would be considered a murderer. There's an idea that it's more chamer to tell somebody to do something sometimes than to do it yourself. How is Ula allowed to do this? So, Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach in the Mincha Shlomo derives from this Gemara that if somebody is a choila mesukan, where he's going to die immediately, and he's dying with terrible, terrible yisurim, then you can sometimes, it would be permitted to actively cause somebody's sooner demise to spare them from terrible yisurim. Again, if somebody's just a goyses and they're not suffering, then you can't even touch them because you are expediting their death. But if somebody is going to die imminently and they're suffering terribly, Rav Shlomo Zalman says that it would be permitted to expedite their death. It's also brought in the Sefer Binas Ruvain that would be permitted, and the Mincha Shlomo has a very long discussion about this. However, the Tiferes Yisrael in his Perush to Masechta Peah on the Mishnah, Elu Dvarim She'en Lahem Shiur, he says certain things have no shiur, meaning even chayesha, you can't even take away someone's chayesha. Life has no shiur. The value of life cannot be measured. Even one moment is considered life, and if you take away one moment of someone's life, you're a Reitzeach. However, the Tiferes Yisrael has the following amazing chiddush and a great principle. Are you allowed to kill someone to save your own life? Right? We know you're allowed to eat treif to save your life. You're allowed to wear shatnez to save your life. You're allowed to eat pig to save your life. You're allowed to speak lashon hara to save your life. Are you allowed to kill someone to save your life? So the Gemara in Sanhedrin says you're not allowed to, based on the principle of my chazis the dama didach sumach tvei dama damach dechavrach sumach tvei. Based on the rule that who says your blood is redder, maybe your friend's blood is redder. You could be the biggest tzaddik in the world. Your friend could be very wicked. Nevertheless, who's to say that your life has more value than your friend's life? But says the Tiferes Yisrael, look, we know that chayesha, even a moment of life, has inestimable value. However, certainly, chaye olam is more valuable. We know that you're not allowed to take away even a moment of someone's life. But if you could, what has more value? Permanent life, what we call chaye olam, a long life, or a moment of life? Certainly, chaye olam is more valuable than chaye shah. So even though ordinarily we apply a rule that my chazis, the dama didach sumak tfei, dama the chavrak sumak tfei. Normally we apply a rule that maybe my friend's life is more valuable than mine. But there are instances where we could say that we know your life is more valuable than your friend's life, because my life would perhaps be a long life, and his life would be a short life. So says the Tiferes Yisrael, in this situation, the guy was killed. He was dying. Ula was his own life was endangered because the murderer said, "Did I do the right thing?" So Ula is allowed to say, "Hey, you should have killed him sooner," as a way of protecting himself. But you're not allowed to protect yourself by killing someone else. Yeah, but if me killing someone else is only taking away chayesha, temporary life, and the protection of my life is chaye olam. In other words, I'm giving myself eternal life, not eternal life, but I'm giving myself permanent life. And how am I accomplishing that? I'm accomplishing that by taking away someone's chayesha. So even though ordinarily we say, who says my blood is redder than my friend's blood? But there are times where we know that your blood is redder than your friend's blood. You know when we know? We know when you're saving your chaye olam at the expense of your friend's chayesha. Your friend was dying anyway. He was shechted anyway. I could say you should have just uncovered the Beis Hashchita and knock him off sooner to save my life. Because even though ordinarily we would say that maybe your friend's life is more valuable, however, when it's an issue of your chaye olam as opposed to your friend's chayesha, that's a decisive factor to say that your life is more valuable than your friend's life. And the Tiferes Yisrael says this is what's taking place over here, that normally I can't kill at the expense of someone else. I can't kill someone to save my life, but if his life is only chayesha and my life is chaye olam, that would be a determining factor. Okay, that's what I wanted to share with you on this Gemara. I'll just point out that Rabbi Kiva Eger in the Goyen Hashas on this Gemara refers us to the Gemara in Soita on Daf Mem Aleph Amud Beis. We were discussing when we learned this Gemara, because if you look in Soita Mem Aleph Amud Beis, the Gemara says very harsh things about people who flatter others who are sinners. The Gemara says that someone who flatters someone else will fall into Gehenna. The Gemara says someone who flatters someone else will eventually fall into their hands. The Gemara says a whole series of things that you're not to flatter someone else. So Rabbi Kiva Eger on our Gemara refers us to Tosfos in Soita Mem Aleph Amud Beis on the bottom. Tosfos says all of those critiques and criticisms of someone who flatters someone else is only said regarding if your life is not in danger. But when your life is in danger, then you are allowed to flatter someone. And Tosfos in Soita cites our Gemara in Nedarim to prove that when it's an issue of saving your life, you're allowed to flatter someone to save your life. Okay, so that's an important yediyah, that from this Gemara, Tosfos in Saita learns that you are allowed to flatter someone to save your life. Okay, Rabbi say the schedule for this coming week of Daf Hashavua is I want to do Daf Chaf Gimel Amud Aleph today. So for you it's 2:44. I think we're going to do it approximately a little bit like late afternoon. I don't know if people are available. I know it's a busy day, but I'm on a different time schedule, and tomorrow night I'm not available. So in a couple hours, I'll try to give you more heads up than I did for this year. A couple hours, we'll do Amud Aleph. We'll do Amud Aleph, and then Tuesday night, okay? So thank you very much for joining out. Have a wonderful day. Shkayach.